I just felt like it was time for something new. Guess you could say it was time to pony up. Bronco, let's go. What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Three Wheel Khalil, and as you can tell, I'm bringing something new to the channel. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce my brand new 2023 Ford Bronco. Honestly, so far it's been a couple weeks. This is an amazing machine. However, I had to give up something just as great to get it. Actually, that was my 2019 Ford Ranger. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys might have seen that, I really have put a lot of time and energy into building out this really cool 2019 Ford Ranger 4x4 Sport into something that I enjoyed wheeling with friends, camping up in the North Georgia mountains, taking it up to Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina. And, it's just taken us on a lot of journeys, me and my wife included. So it's been an amazing experience. And so a lot of my friends, and maybe now you might ask, well, if you love that truck so much, why would you have traded that for a Ford Bronco? And in this video, I wanted to talk about that some. And I wanted to kind of expand on why I think the Ford Bronco is the evolution of what I want to do with my wheeling and off-roading and camping setup. So thank you guys for tuning in to something a little different than three-wheel content. I actually hope to expand this a lot more because off-roading and wheeling is honestly one of my biggest hobbies, as well as three-wheel motorcycles. So I hope to share that passion with you guys, and hopefully you'll stick along for the ride. When choosing a new vehicle for a new build, one of the most important things is to consider your purpose for that vehicle. They always say you want to start with the end goal in mind, and that really kind of frames everything in the right context so that you can go forward and execute in the proper way. And for me, with off-roading, overlanding, I'm more of a weekend warrior type. I like riding light to moderate trails. 99.9% of the time I'm going out with friends. In my day job, I'm so connected. I work on computers all day and servers. So it's a pleasure of mine to be able to go out into the woods and disconnect and be away from phone signal for a little bit, or just to be somewhere where the air is fresh and crisp and feels like it's untainted by like the general, populace. And it's just a really good feeling. And so my vehicles are usually to bring me to a camp spot that's a little bit harder to get to, that you would have had to trek a little further than the average bear. And that is what excites me about off-roading and overlanding, is that aspect of it, that exploration aspect of it. Whereas the technical rock crawling and obstacles, that is definitely secondary to me. I like more trails that are, looser, maybe mud and ruts and challenging obstacles with those type of things in mind, whereas rock crawling and that piece of it is not as exciting to me. So with that as my North Star, the vision for this current build of the Bronco is a luxury off-roader that gives me all of the creature comforts on road. However, when I get on a trail, it's right at home, it has the right protection, it has the right capability, and it allows me to get out and get into the elements and camp in beautiful areas that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And so that's where the transition from the truck to the Bronco comes in, because my truck platform was definitely nice and decent on road, but as you start getting a little into the modifications of a truck, I had a Prinsu roof rack, smart cap, I had full skid plates underneath, slightly larger tires that equated to about a 32, and modified off-road suspension and stuff like that. You start to gain the characteristics for off-road, but then you lose a little bit of the manners on road to a certain extent. And now you definitely can get those back by maybe going for the most expensive Cadillac of parts, But then also you start to weigh and say, okay, am I going to modify this vehicle to create kind of this dream of what I have that's going to cost a certain amount of money? Or do I start looking at a vehicle that maybe is already more aligned with my goals? And for me, I think that 2023 Bronco Outer Banks Luxe package with a rear locker fits that perfectly, because I can easily upgrade to 33-inch tires on that vehicle, go maybe slightly higher with about a 2-inch lift, and be fully capable for most of the trails that I want to do. And then I also have all of the creature comforts of having a vehicle that is well dampened for the road, doesn't have to have all of the extra goods that you have to kind of contend with in the aftermarket, because while the aftermarket is incredible, you're going to find gems, but also nothing is going to be tested to the degree that something is tested by Ford engineers or whatever manufacturer that you're buying your vehicle from. So you can get amazing quality parts, but some of the like edge case problems you'll have are going to be somewhat more prevalent with aftermarket parts than they are going to be with factory parts. That's just the nature of the beast. However, are you able to get more capability than factory? Of course, that's undeniable. But I kind of wanted to keep this build somewhat closer to what Ford intended for a Bronco out of the factory with a little bit of extra modification, and not go wild and put 37s and all of that other like that again doesn't really appeal to me. My idea is I want something that looks just as in place in my office parking lot as it does on the trail, and that is why I chose this Outer Banks Bronco. And I think it is going to be an amazing platform to build on. I think it's going to give me the right amount of confidence on road, and it's going to give me a lot of different kind of fun factors to it. I think already it handles really great on road. I have the ability to sleep in the Bronco when I go camping. I have the ability to turn it into a convertible at a moment's notice, and I did it earlier today, riding around with my wife with the top down. Like, there's not much that is as fun as that. And you have all of those packed into one vehicle. And I kind of feel like the Bronco has like multiple personalities. I've got this twin turbo V6 that wants to go quickly, that has some good grunt, some amazing torque. I'm actually interested maybe to put a Ford Performance tune on that and see if I can wake it up a little bit more, because I think they're holding that thing back a little bit just to kind of keep it somewhat in line, I think, with the 4-cylinder. That platform just has so many facets to it. You're talking about convertible, doors off, good power plant, comfortable on road, capable off road. It just does a lot of what you want to do right out of the box without many modifications. And that's exciting to me. That's exciting to me. I think that the Bronco honestly just looks great. And I'll be real, when I bought my Ranger, the Bronco wasn't even, fully announced at that time. I bought my 2019 Ford Ranger years back, and I had this idea like, man, I would love a Bronco. I don't know what the Bronco is going to look like, but what the renderings and things I had seen had made it, a really interesting idea to me. But I was like, I want a truck now. I was moving from a car to a truck. I was like, I want to have a truck at this point in my life. And it was one of the greatest decisions that I ever made, because it really changed my opinion on vehicles and pushed me much more into the 4x4 space than I was coming from like BMWs and imports and stuff like that. So it really expanded my horizons, and I wouldn't change it for the world. The Ford Ranger that I had and how I built it is honestly it's one of my favorite achievements. I think that I really love how I kind of had a vision for a build, and I put it out and I made it happen. And hopefully the Bronco is the evolution of that. So you guys, I hope you stick with me. Check it out on this channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more Bronco content. I'll still be doing some 3-wheel content. I'll be doing whatever my, heart desires, as long as it includes a motor. So you guys, I hope you stick with me. Remember, life's more fun on 3 wheels. especially on the Bronco, because I don't have the sway bar disconnect. So I'll be 3-wheeling out there too. Peace.